Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
If you watch women's cricket, arguably the best all-rounder in the game. Someone I've watched over the last 6-7 years, captain of her team, the White Ferns. If you watch her in any franchise tournament, you're like, how can someone be as talented as this lady? Welcome, Sophie Devine. World Cup on home soil. How big is that? How are you looking forward to that? How are you getting prepared?
Firstly, thanks for having me. It's quite an introduction that you gave me. So, look, it's a really exciting time for women's cricket, and certainly for the New Zealand women's cricket team, the White Ferns, to be playing a World Cup at home. It's certainly something that doesn't happen very often, and it's probably, the last opportunity I'll get to play a World Cup at home. So there's certainly a certain amount of pressure that comes with that of playing at home, but it's something that we're all relishing as a group to be able to play on home conditions, which is something we're obviously all really comfortable and confident on. And, I think we've got a great group starting to build together and hopefully be there at the business end of the tournament.
Yeah, and if I now come to Sophie, the leader, you've got a great team. You've got some extremely talented cricketers, whether it's Amy, whether it's Emilia, whether it's Susie Bates, the whole team. If I go down and I see there is a lot of talent in that side, but the coveted trophy still waits for you guys. So tell me your philosophy as leader, as part of the leadership group, captain and all of that. Tell me, Sophie Devine, the leader, what is your philosophy?
Well, look, I think for me, it's really about being comfortable and expressing who you are as a person. And certainly for us, it's about making sure that we care a lot about you as a person, not just as a cricketer. And when you feel comfortable in an environment, I think that's when you perform your best. And so we certainly try and, encourage people to just go out there and play their natural style of cricket, to play fearless cricket and to go out and enjoy it, to remember why they started playing cricket in the first place. I know certainly for me as a young girl, I just loved hitting balls, bowling balls in the cricket nets for hours and hours and on end. So it's really important for us as a group that we go back to remembering why we played the game of cricket. So that's something that's really important to this whole group, and certainly will be something that we want to continue through, not just to the World Cup, but moving forward as a White Ferns group, is going back to why we play cricket.
In your case, you mentioned hours and hours of playing balls, but it was hockey as well. You played at the very highest level. If I see you were an extremely talented person from such a young age. Why cricket? How did that happen? And did you ever imagine you will end up captaining the White Ferns, nominated the best ODI, the best T20 player in the world, all of it? I mean, your cabinet is almost full except that one World Cup trophies. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, look, I think it's certainly something in the water in New Zealand where, as kids, you're encouraged to play as many sports as possible. And for me, it was always cricket was the one that stood out, and hockey as well. They're just sports. I know my family, my dad and my brother were both really passionate cricketers, so I'd always follow them around on the weekend and see if I can try and sneak a game on with their team. So it's certainly been in my blood for a long, long time, and it's a game that I think is really unique, that it's an individual sport but played within a team setting, which brings its different challenges but also opportunities to perform and help your team win. So look, I certainly love cricket, and as you say, we sort of are missing a few pieces of silverware, and a World Cup 50 over trophy would certainly go nicely in the cabinet. But we know that there's a lot of hard work that has to go into it, that it's going to take a lot of planning and a lot of hard work and execution of skills and plans to make sure that we can be there.
Sophie, just digressing a little bit, I'll come back to the World Cup again. I was Saurav Ganguly, the Indian Cricket Board chief, was on my show backstage with Boria, and I asked him that what's happening with the WIPL, and he's on record on my show saying in the next 3-4 months the BCCI will be moving forward with the WIPL with a lot of certainty. Your thoughts on that? If that happens, will that give a significant boost to the women's game around the world?
Oh, incredible boost. I think we've all seen the impact that the WBBL has had in Australia and around the world. And, the standard of the cricket and the women's game has improved because of that tournament, I believe. And I think the next genuine step is for the WIPL to kick off. And I think it's certainly a really exciting prospect. We all know the impact that the men's IPL has had over the last 10, 11 years. And I guess the increased, viewership in the game, the ability to bring in the world's best players alongside the Indian players is just something that I know, speaking with a few of the male players, they absolutely love that opportunity. So it's really positive to hear that the BCCI are moving towards that, because I know, speaking with a few of the Indian female players as well, is they absolutely want to be able to have a competition of their own.
So far you have. I mean, as I said, bowling at the top, batting, and the way you've batted over the years as a batter, fantastic. Let me just ask you two personal questions. Two of my favorites will call on their career at the end of this World Cup. They've played with you for a decade and more. For a long, long time, they've been flag bearers of the Indian game. Your thoughts on Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami?
Oh, I think, as you mentioned, they've been absolute stalwarts of the Indian women's cricket team and women's cricket as well. I think about Mithali and how long she's played for. I think it's over close to 20 years now.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah, and it's incredible. It'd be amazing to speak to her about the growth of the women's game and how she's seen it evolve during her time. And Jhulan, I think, is one of the most loveliest people I've ever met in cricket circles, and I've certainly been really honoured to have shared the changing room on a number of occasions. And I think her impact on women's cricket is going to be everlasting, because she's had such a presence with what she's been able to do. To think that she's still bowling the way that she is, having been around for so long, it's just so much credit to her, and the dedication she has to fast bowling is outstanding.
You think the World Cup will give a boost to the women's game? That's my last.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will. I think, as we mentioned, the exposure that we've had recently, I think about the Indian versus Australia, the World T20 at the MCG, where there was 86,000 people watching that game. It just goes to show that there really is an audience for women's cricket. And I certainly think that we keep taking the right steps to moving this game forward and being, what people want to watch. People want to be involved in women's sport, and women's cricket's right at the front of that. So, look, I'm really excited to be able to show my beautiful New Zealand, my home country, to the rest of the world and what we've got, and hopefully we can put on a really good product with what happens on the park as well.
Fingers crossed, because that's important in these COVID times for the entire sporting world. And all I will say is, as soon as the WIPL happens and the auction happens, trust you me, all of New Zealand will have a smile on their face for Sophie Devine, because we know the bid will go sky high. Sophie, fingers crossed for all of that. Wish you a fantastic World Cup on home soil. Don't beat India, do everything else. But great to have you on my show. Thank you very, very much.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for your time.
Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.